YouTube? It's your boy Jay Steph. We're back at it with another YouTube reaction. Hey, I'm going to Australia. By the way, my Australian folk, I know y'all still here. Like I want to say about a good amount of y'all are subscribed to the channel. And actually a video I did on y'all gangs out in Australia is my most watched video. It got like 54K, man. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to Australia. Australia will always have a special place in my heart. And once I start getting bread off this shit, off this YouTube shit, I'm going to do a meet and greet in Australia. No gang members, please. I will not be getting yinged up for anybody. I'm telling, okay? I'm snitching, okay? I'm not holding, bro. I'm not going to hold y'all. But anyway, that's that. Everything you need is in the description, okay? It's your boy Jay Steph, man. We finna tap into Kid Nerd's video, so shout out to Kid Nerd. He's another guy in the UK drill community who does this type of content. He's kind of like a Skyboy as well, too. They do similar content and shit like that, so shout out to you, Kid Nerd. I think he showed love to the channel before. I think I've reacted to him, but if he hasn't, if it's your first time here, Kid Nerd, I watched your videos before, so shout out to you, bro. Hope you and your family are well. And yeah, go sub to him, like his video, and sub to me, like my video. And yeah, let's get right into it, man. Come on, let's go.
You have your own theory about why we do have young people committing more violent crimes at the moment?
It's from home. Yeah, it's the connection from home. If the kid doesn't have it at home, they're going to go out and find it.
Nah,
South
it's not
Sudanese
home,
community
bro.
leaders
It's not,
in
bro.
Melbourne are demanding urgent action after 2 children were killed in a machete attack at the weekend.
Victorians feel unsafe and they're pissed off. Do you understand that?
I certainly understand the perception around safety because it's so important. If people don't feel safe, and
I ain't gonna lie, on the video that I'm sorry for pausing, on the video that I reacted to, they got 54K on there, joint, when I was talking about the gangs and stuff, some of y'all on there was faking, talking about some this is cap, this is this, this is that. Okay, so then explain this. Why are videos being made now saying that y'all niggas are wildin' in Melbourne? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't think it's cap no more, my boy.
Do something about it.
Hey, y'all be with dreadheads, nigga. Look, and them dreadheads turn you to a dead man. Don't even bother coming out with a vest.
What you're looking at isn't a drill video in London, Chicago, or even New York. This is Melbourne, Australia, where drill music and the rise in youth crime is becoming a serious issue. Youth crime in Melbourne is at record highs, and it is becoming increasingly clear the police do not know how to handle it. Just the other month, a 12 and 15-year-old were murdered in a double killing linked to a drill gang.
There's been a major breakthrough in a Cobblebank crime that shocked the nation. 7 teens have been charged with the alleged murder of 2 young boys killed on their way home from basketball.
And these youth aren't just killing each other. They are running in houses, carjacking vehicles, even setting fires to bins, all while posting their crimes to social media. What's happening in Melbourne is a system of edge, and today we'll be exploring the real cause of everything. As an outsider, when you think of Melbourne, you're probably thinking this: skyscrapers, good coffee and good vibes, in what the media dubbed as the most livable city in the world. But the truth is, Melbourne has never been perfect. In the 70s to 80s, Melbourne was plagued by drugs, police corruption and street gangs. In the 90s to 2000s, the city's criminal underworld was literally at war, which saw a string of 36 back and forth murders stretched over 12 years. But now it's kids. Kids barely old enough to drive are breaking into homes, stealing luxury cars, and stabbing each other just because of where they live. And many are pointing towards the city's rising drill music phenomenon. Now, Aussie drill isn't a new thing. Off the back of UK drill success, Australian drill started to find its own voice. But not in Melbourne. Instead, 800 kilometers away in Western Sydney. Sydney's drill scene was actually quite big. It took the energy of UK drill and flipped it into something raw, local, and unapologetically Australian. The biggest to come out the scene was a group named 1-4, who were a group of boys from one of Sydney's most tough suburbs, Mount Druitt. And they got hundreds of millions of streams across their career, and are still out streaming a lot of American and UK groups till this very day. But 1-4 drew massive media attention, and most of it wasn't positive. Violent brawls, police raids, and harsh lyrics were their public.
Something about them 1-4 boys. Them 1-4 youths over there do not play no games. I think 1-4, y'all told me like 1-4 is like the youngers of LF or Is it LF70? Yeah, and LF70, them niggas is wild too. Like, what the fuck?
Image. And as you can probably guess, a lot of Aussie people didn't approve.
I don't even
but behind
know
all the
who's who.
controversy,
I don't even know.
1-4 were extremely influential. After their success, the Aussie drill sound caught on in other major cities like Brisbane and Adelaide, but most notably right now in Melbourne. Melbourne's drill feud is much more different to Sydney's. Western Sydney street politics are much more generational and structured, passed down through the older generations and confined to a small number of suburbs. But Melbourne is just a complete free-for-all. Here, the rivals aren't generational. They are spontaneous, chaotic, and just downright out of control. They are also ethnically quite different. In Sydney, drill came out of the Pacific Islander community, mainly from kids of Samoan, Tongan, and Fijian heritage, growing up in the West. But in Melbourne, the story is different. Here, the scene has largely been shaped by young African Australians, particularly from South Sudan. For more than half a century, the north and south of Sudan has been locked in conflict. The north, mainly Arab and Muslim, controlled the government and resources, while the south, largely African and Christian, was left isolated, sparking two brutal civil wars. In 2011, South Sudan finally managed to gain independence from the north, but this didn't stop the trouble. In South Sudan alone,
I ain't gonna lie. South Sudan and Somali and yeah, the niggas who's like got that in their blood, that's like in that UK gang shit, like that's half Somali, like them niggas on the AG side, yeah, all them niggas is crazy. Do not fuck with them. Leave them Negroes alone, okay? Do not.
there are more than 60 ethnic groups
okay?
speaking over 80 different languages. And just like many other African countries, putting so many different cultures and beliefs under one government has been disastrous, creating massive political power struggles and civil wars between different ethnic groups, which probably isn't going away anytime soon. All in all, the Australian government has been quite supportive of Sudan's problems, with various foreign aid programs and peacekeeping efforts. In fact, outside of Africa, Australia has taken in one of the largest Sudanese communities in the world, second only to the United States, with around 30,000 Sudanese-born residents and roughly 50,000 people of Sudanese heritage, now calling Australia home. The majority living in Victoria, the state that holds the city of Melbourne, but the Sudanese community has seen its fair share of controversy since arriving, and none was bigger than the 2016 Moomba Festival riots.
However you book, first check Kayak to find
hell
great
nah,
deals
they
and
gave me 45 seconds. Hell nah. Where was we at? Where was we at, chat?
And these
I think we were like right here.
Since arriving, and none was bigger than the 2016 Moomba Festival riots.
Well, Moomba celebrations have been marred by violence after a number of brawls erupted in the CBD over the weekend. Teenagers could be
like
seen
that?
fighting near
Whoa,
St Paul's Cathedral,
whoa.
throwing punches and clashing, while violence also broke out at Flinders Street Station.
This event led to quite a weird time in Melbourne, in what a lot of people dubbed as the African Panic. Starting in March of 2016 till November of 2018, in the run-up to the Victorian state elections, the two phrases African gangs and Apex gangs became some of the most repeated terms in Australian media, appearing over 1,000 times in news articles alone. Despite people of African background accounting for only 1% of total crime in Victoria, near enough every day African crime was being addressed in the media. African community leaders tried desperately to clean up the image, working with the police and government to clean up growing concerns. But while community leaders were out trying to fix the problem, some of the youth began adding fuel to the fire. With all the spotlight now on what the media called African gangs, certain groups of African youth began capitalizing on the controversy. One of the first was a group called Menace to Society, who were a collection of mainly Sudanese teenagers from Melbourne suburbs, and they really weren't helping the cause, dropping violent music and creating bad headlines through their antics. But since then, it's got worse. Melbourne drill music has become much more violent and much more direct. No longer is it just groups of kids boasting about being menaces and getting into the odd fight. People are actually dying and being name dropped in songs. One of those killed was a Melbourne rapper known as Peasy, who was shot and killed shortly after releasing a new music video. And he isn't the only one. From the last 5 years or so, all these people you're seeing on the screen have died in Melbourne as a result of rival street drill gangs, many of which are civilians, including this 12-year-old boy who was murdered in a double stabbing a couple months back while coming back from a basketball match. Community leaders, police and politicians are now pleading with communities who are suffering with the consequences of these actions. And for the South Sudanese community, who have found themselves overrepresented in this field, certain families have even started sending their kids back home. But this isn't just a murder wave going on here in Melbourne. This is a full crime epidemic. Vehicle thefts are up 42% in Melbourne, and home invasions are rising 21% year on year. The lawlessness going on in Melbourne right now is something you'd expect to see in a place like Brazil. Youth gangs are literally running into houses, kidnapping residents and clearing them for everything they've got. And kids as young as 13 are stealing luxury cars.
Yeah, let a 13-year-old walk into my house and try to play with me like that. A 13-year-old nigga, you are getting blasted out the skyline, boy. I swear to you on everything, nigga. Dead ass. Let a 13-year-old child run up in my crib like I don't got this thing on me and I will send him to Jesus Christ, boy. But what, boy?
And posting them to social media almost as if it's nothing. And the craziest part, a lot of these kids aren't even scared of getting caught. Because in Victoria, the laws are so soft. If you are under 18, you can break into houses, steal cars, even assault someone. And in most cases, you'll be out the next day. In one case, a 13-year-old boy was allowed to walk free after killing 16-year-old Sam Cutler, because the judge deemed him too young to bear responsibility. And 3 years later, he was caught committing the crime you're seeing on your screen now. A brutal home invasion which saw a 60-year-old man stabbed countless times, shot in the arm, and bashed repeatedly with a hammer. Police officers have been saying it for years. They arrest the same teenagers every week.
Y'all niggas is dumb as hell. I'm sorry. Like, y'all are stupid, bro. Why the fuck would I let this young ass nigga, this badass YN, just keep... Why would I release him the day after he killed somebody, nigga? And you gonna say that, oh, he's deemed... Nigga, what? How is he deemed not responsible of offing somebody, nigga? What? How is that possible? You don't think he knew what he was doing? You think he just offed him just to off him, bro? No, nigga. Like, how? I don't... Y'all be doing this to yourselves, and I ain't gonna lie. It was mentioned in the first video when I reacted to that gang in Australia. I was asking them, why did them niggas get 3 years for a murder? And then niggas from Australia was telling me, yo, like, yeah, like that's how that shit go over here. I'm like, nigga, bro, this
Some
is
of them
insane,
have
though.
dozens of charges
got
and are still
scot-free
walking
off
free
of
today.
murder.
Compared to other countries like the UK or the US, where juvenile offenders can face tough sentencing if the crime is severe enough. Victoria's justice system focuses on diversion, rehabilitation and early intervention, as they say, which pretty much means trying to rehabilitate young offenders while still being free. But with crime climbing and gangs seemingly having no fear, a lot of people are starting to ask, is the system being taken advantage of? With crime rates hitting record highs, the state police are being forced to rethink everything. Just recently, a machete ban was introduced statewide, which made carrying a machete illegal. And now they are looking to introduce more operations and task forces to keep a good eye on those offending. But from what it's seeming like on the streets of Melbourne, it will take much more than weapon bans and surveillance to stop this city from spiraling into further chaos.
There's a Harbor Freight store in your neighborhood. And the thing about neighborhoods...
On the 6th of September 2025, two boys aged 12 and 15 were walking home from basketball practice in Cobblebank, an outer suburb of Melbourne, when they were chased and set upon by a group of assailants who then hacked them to death with machetes. 7 teenagers have since been arrested and charged with murder. This double murder has become a flashpoint in the city's ongoing crime wave. A surge in violent crime and property crime is afflicting this city, still regularly but less credibly listed among the world's most livable. The youth of the victims and the alleged attackers, their shared Sudanese background, and the possibility that the violence is gang-related have raised inevitable questions about youth offending, policing, and multiculturalism. Reports that the arrestees include a young man photographed just months earlier brandishing a machete at a suburban shopping mall have reignited the debate about Victoria's bail laws and precipitated a ban on machetes. Large bins have been placed across the city in the hope that the budding duelists will voluntarily surrender their weapons. The Melbourne crime wave is the most visible manifestation of endemic disorder created.
Tell you something right now. Oh shit. I'm tweaking. The video's over. Oh. This is a whole nother video. I'm tweaking. Oh shit. My fault, y'all. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, we're gonna be